Hello, welcome to the Electrical Mirror podcast. And
Thank you.
Electrical Mirror is one of the best publications to give you all the insights of the electrical industry. Here at El Asia 2026, we are here to give all the updates what happening in this international expo. With me, I have Modutec. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the podcast. Can we start with a brief about yourself and your company?
Sure. So thank you first for the opportunity. It's really nice that Electric Mirror thought about this. My name is Ramani, and I'm the founder managing director of Modutec Ready Panels Pvt Limited. I started my career in 1983. Started off with an electrical trading company called Money Sales Bangalore. Here, we are one of the biggest stockists for Legrand in Karnataka. Uh, we also significantly stock ABB and Socomec, and we are South India distributors for Electron. It's a product out of Kolkata. Then I went on in 1990 to start Load Controls. Load Controls is an electrical switchboard and control panel manufacturing company. Today we are stockist, we are licensed partners for LK, their TI panels. We are also medium voltage, we work with Schneider Electric. And in this month, perhaps, Load Controls will take on the licensing of Excel Cube of Legrand as well. And then, there was this need in me that what else can I do for the industry? How else can I serve? And what should I be doing in such a way that I'm able to add more value to the customer? So that's when in 1996, I went to Singapore, visited about 18 panel building units, just to understand how the world makes panels. So that's where I got to know that even in Singapore, there was the conventional welded design of panels, and then there was the semi-modular panel manufacturers. But what really caught my attention was a world-class modular technology. So I came back, then I thought about it. I did a lot of research, went to Denmark, went to Sri Lanka, went to Malaysia, Dubai, just to understand this technology better. In the year 2000, I released the first modular enclosure system in my load controls. The day we introduced that, we dropped the welded technology, moved on. So 2007, I registered the third company of mine called Modutec. And this is, we've evolved the entire manufacturing of modular enclosures, and what you can see today in El Asia exhibition is some of our latest innovations. And then I didn't want to stop there. So this year, we have started another company called Electrotech. This is, my being so impressed by some of the areas of technology which China has to offer to the world. And these are technologies which are to do with smart distribution systems. We buy them from China, and then we sell it to different customers of ours. The first two companies, Money Sales and Load Controls, I have moved on from there. I have given up my equity in these two companies. So what I focus on today is basically your Modutec and Electrotech. The name Money Group of Companies continues. Money is my father's name. And so does the continuous service to industry continue.
Right. So with your company, the consumer got these prefabricated panels and like most advanced panels, I must say. So what are the advantages that one can get out of it?
Yeah. So when you're in conventional panel manufacturing, you take the sheet, you cut it, you bend it, you weld it. So you're actually manufacturing the whole, enclosure, and then you have to populate it with the electricals, and then test it and then dispatch. So what happens is your part manufacturing and part assembly. What we are trying to bring in is, can a panel builder be a complete assembler only? Like, for example, if you want to do furniture for your house, You can get a carpenter who will bring sheets or plywoods and then cut it in your house. He'll do a whole lot of mess by the time he finishes it. And then you have the IKEA offer, right? It's a completely modular enclosure, a modular system by which you bring it, you're able to assemble it in your house, and your furniture is ready. So the idea of Modutec is, can we make panel builders manufacture panels, or rather assemble panels, just the way you assemble an IKEA furniture? And if you can do that, the benefits are that you will be able to do it faster, smarter, you'll be able to do it with precision, with the best of quality, with the least of effort, in the sense labor is becoming more expensive every day, and we have to think in terms of seeing how we can do things faster, quicker, without being too laborious about the way we do it. So all this sort of is the philosophy where Modutec has its tagline as simplifying panel building. So we simplify the entire process of how a panel is manufactured. That's the whole theme around which we
Right,
work.
when it's about assembling and all these things, and you just mentioned about the quality, how do you maintain that? Like, if I am manufacturing something, I can take care of end-to-end product, but when you are assembling it, how you take care of the quality?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because that is what most people kind of tend to take it for granted, And in order for you to bring out the precision, bring out the technology, bring out the ease of putting things together, you need to have right machinery in place.
Okay.
So apart from the CNC turret punch press, the CNC laser machines, CNC press brakes, we have also now today, in fact, the machine has arrived, a P2 Salvagini panel bender. So this is something which is really going to help us scale our manufacturing. Plus, we have last week ordered for a continuous process of powder coating. So where untouched by human hand, the door or whatever part of your panel, it goes through the pre-treatment, which is a spray technology, and then it goes through the powder coating, and then the oven comes out and ready for the next process. So unless and until you have the right kind of machinery in place and the right kind of systems and computerized environment in place, you will not be able to bring out the precision, you will not be able to scale the business. And in order for you to invest in these kind of machines, you need the volume also.
Right.
So this is till you reach the first 40, 50 crores, it will be a little tough. But after that, things will become easier and hopefully better. And especially when you look at the market as not restricted to India, but to the whole world.
So I believe it's a very heterogeneous market where there are different kind of consumers. Some would like to believe they would like to get something which is not prefabricated or which is not assembled but manufactured. So how do you tackle these challenges with the consumer and the distribution of your product?
Yeah, I mean, we need to offer to the customer what he wants is one philosophy.
Right.
We need to choose our customers is another philosophy. So it is not for everybody to go to IKEA, for instance, right? So you need a certain segment of customers whom you choose. And they are obviously the customers who want things faster, want it smarter, better, quality driven, compliant. So we need to go behind those customers and then serve them. So there's always this thing about what you're capable of doing and what is the need out there in the market, and how well you're able to synchronize these two is what business is all about.
Right.
So we've been trying to do that continually, and hoping that we'll be getting better and better at it.
Sure. So my next question is, now that you have mentioned about the machines that you are getting, it's something without human touch. So just for my reference, I would like to ask, how much human interferences in prefabricated panel assembly or manufacturing?
It's much lesser than the manual ones.
Right.
Even in India, labor cost is becoming more expensive as we go forward. And it's one thing about the cost. The other thing is about the quality. Something which is handled by humans is prone to, when you take it and keep it in a particular place, there's a matter of fatigue which steps in at some part of the day. And then when they keep it a little strongly on the table, then it's likely to get scratched. And then for you to cover that scratch and ensure that it is not shown after the powder coating, it's going to become even more laborious.
Right.
But when you do all these things with robots, with automation systems, and untouched by human hand, then the possibility of things coming out to the precision of quality which you have envisaged, chances are better.
Right. So now, when we talk about these panels, how does this improve the consumer satisfaction, cost efficiency, installation, and all? Like, what about these aspects?
So we configure everything based on the customer requirement, right? In the sense of right from the design stage, we look at seeing how we can focus the whole enclosure solution towards number one, being compliant.
Right.
There are international standards called IEC 61439 part 1 and 2, and then there is the internal arc compliance, which is IEC 61641. So what does the end client want? He wants safety, reliability in a budget. And what is important is for us to ensure that whatever are the safety and reliability aspects are not compromised. So they are something which has to be a given. So right from the design stage, we ensure that whatever we offer to our customer is, when I talk about compliance, I talk about short circuit compliant, whatever is the fault level which the system requires at that particular place, whether it is 25K, 50K, 65K, 100K, whatever it is, we configure the short circuit design in terms of the space, the bus bar systems, the bus bar support to bus bar support distances, as well as the temperature rise is another important factor in electrical switchboards, which one will have to be careful about. We need to ensure that it is all within the prescribed levels so that the performance is not compromised. Then you have the IK, which is the strength of the entire enclosure. And then we have the IP, which is the ingress protection, which ensures that the whole panel is suited for the location where it is placed, in terms of dust and vermin proof. So all of these are aspects which we look into right from day one of receiving the project inquiry. And then when it comes to IEC 61439, there is the end customer, there is the specifier, and then there is the panel builder.
Okay.
And what is important is that all three of them should synchronize in terms of what is the real need of that project. And that is where, when the specification is given out as they want a switchboard which is IEC 61439 compliant, one is to say, इनको order दिया तो they will give IEC 61439. But the point is that we have to trust, but we need to verify all the time.
Right.
So verification comes from what we call the declaration of conformity. So there are 12 tests which have been enumerated in the standard, and Modutec elaborates test-wise as to how this particular project, this particular panel is compliant with the standard.
Right.
So these are all things which help Modutec to deserve the trust what is very much required for us to simplify panel building.
And what are the compliances that Modutec take cares for the safety of the consumer, if I may ask?
All the aspects in terms of number one, you try to understand the end user's requirement threadbare. You ask questions. You clarify: is the panel going to be in an air-conditioned room, or is it going to be in the outdoor, or is it going to be in a dusty environment, or is it going to be in a relatively dust-free environment? Is it going to be exposed to sunlight? Is it going to have the cables coming in from bottom, or is it going to be coming in from top? Is it going to be single front, or is it going to be double front? So there are a number of questions like this. We have a checklist.
Right.
And we run the customer's inquiry through that checklist to really understand what the customer wants. And then we come out with the appropriate solution. So there is a lot of hand-holding which is required. And once we do that, then, the trust kind of develops further and further. And then we get what is called key accounts. And the hope is always that 20% of your customers give you 80% of your business. And it all helps in that direction.
Yeah. So now that we are talking about like 20% of consumer and all these things, I believe there must be a lot of challenges that Modutec may face in the changing and dynamic world, I'll say. So can you give a brief about those challenges that you have overcome or you still face as a company?
Yeah, you see, problems are different in different geographies. For example, if you go to Australia, where quite a chunk of our sales goes, it's 100% compliant industry. I mean, if in Australia you sell a panel which is not compliant to IEC 61439, you're put behind bars. It's very, very strict. So there, the challenge is on this declaration of compliance, to really understanding how you can convey the fact that you've taken care of all the parameters, which is very important for the performance of the switchboard. And there in Australia, practically nobody negotiates much. Whatever price you give them, they generally accept it. But if you delay or if you give them quality which is unacceptable to them, then they'll come down on you very heavily. Yeah. India, it's the other way around. So, India, everyone is after the price, and they want L1. It's a L1 economy, and that is where we qualify the inquiries when we operate in India. We do not. We don't want to be an answer for every category of customers. We do what we do. We do that best, and we serve best. So, in that segment. We need to be more focused on the specifiers. So the specifiers and the consultants are the ones who will be able to advise the clients, saying, don't go for L1. Choose between these 2 or 3 people. And those are the places where the client will also listen to the consultant, because he also has a vision of a certain quality, what he wants. So it's a question of, trying to understand the client's requirement, whether you really want to be in that space. And once you really want to be in that space, then it's a question of handling objections and then presenting your product and then closing the deal.
Right. Now that you have mentioned about the exports to Australia, and I believe there must be other countries.
Oh yes. In fact, our first break came in Middle East, Dubai, and then we moved into Africa, and then there was then Australia got added, and then New Zealand got added. So Australia, New Zealand, we have distributors out there. We also brand for certain switchgears,
Right.
like LS Electric of Korea. We have type tested our entire enclosures with their switchgear, and they in turn market it in their brand of MSOL. Similarly, we have type tested Mitsubishi of Japan, the complete range of our products, and they market it in the brand of Meta. We have large understandings with ABB as well as Eaton, where we have gone for projects with them, large projects. So it's a matter of how you discover as to where the need is most,
Right.
and then you go around serving them. I'm very keen to explore Europe this year as well as Southeast Asia.
Now, if we mention Middle East, Dubai, Europe in a sentence, the recent conflict comes to the mind. So, how that has impacted your business?
Yeah, I mean, as an entrepreneur, you always learn to adapt to situations. So, and what is there today will not be there tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right.
So, we go on faith. Yes, our focus probably will shift a little bit more this side or that side, depending upon where the need is more pronounced. But that's all part of the game. And
Yeah.
we need to learn how to play the game without allowing emotion to come inside or fear to come inside, but always replacing fear with faith and moving ahead.
So there might be like some hit that you must have got from the Hormuz blockade and all these things. Like, what are the imports like you were getting from there, and how does that got impacted? Like,
Yeah,
throughout.
I was in fact talking to the managing director of LS yesterday. He had come to the stall, and he was talking to me about how Dubai, the entire tourism industry has gone down,
Yeah,
and that's the main economy of Dubai,
right.
and because of all the restrictions, the prices have gone up. He says, you know, switchgears like Schneider and ABB are putting a war surcharge,
Yeah.
and
For all the like valid reasons.
yeah,
There is nothing to be like hid from the consumer. They should know about it.
yeah,
And
absolutely,
prices gonna reflect that, I guess.
absolutely, and so it's a lot of dialoguing which has to
Right.
happen between us and our customers, saying, हाँ वो प्राइस में हम आपका ऑर्डर लिए थे, but then this is the situation.
Right.
So please consider, if not 10%, at least 5% increase.
Right.
Some people will give, some people will not give. Life goes on.
Right. So when we talk about machines and the future of it, so what do you think will be the AI integration with your company and how it's gonna look in the near future?
You know, some of these videos which come on Instagram, you know, on Chinese companies where you have a row of textile machineries
Right.
and robots actually stitching the garments.
Right.
And so you see, definitely automation is going to be the future, and it'll give you more predictable quality, it'll give you the speed, it'll work 24/7.
Yeah.
You have industries today in the electrical space which works, which is called the lights off industry, where you don't need the light to have the machines operational. So it can work 24/7. It is important for Indians to think in those ways.
Right.
You know, we are very conscious about cost, and labor is relatively cheaper. But when it comes to these automation systems, yes, there's a capital cost, but then the quality goes to the next level. And as long as you have the volumes to handle the justification of the capital cost, then you're on the right path. And I see myself going in that path.
That's the future, I guess.
Yeah, that is.
So now that we are talking about changes, so what are the innovation that Modutec is planning for the modular design panels?
Innovations are a continuous process of
Yeah.
improvement. We keep listening more and more to the customers. When I come to an exhibition like Alasia, we go to different stalls, we interact, we try to understand where the trending demands are. Like somebody yesterday was there at my stall and he said, drought panels, where are you on that?
Yeah.
So drought panels is something which we are working on, but I hadn't given it too much of priority because there were so many other things pulling me in different directions. This gentleman gave me confidence. He says, no, you must come out with drought panels. That is, there's a very good demand for it. He was from Kuwait, and he says, करना ही पड़ेगा आपको. So I said, sure, we'll look into it. So in fact, this morning I took a decision that before the end of this year, I have to introduce drought motor control and power
So
control
now, like
centers.
from this, I have one question. Like when you deliver your product to Africa, so there is a situation, drought situation, almost like every year. Thorn of Africa is like having like strong hit from that. So how does these drought panels gonna help that particular area going through the drought?
Drought panels are basically used in process industries.
Okay.
So, like cement, sugar,
Okay.
chemicals, pharma, and also oil and gas. So, what happens is when you have a series of, say, 100 motors working and taking the product forward one after the other, if there is a problem with one of the motors, then the entire process manufacturing will come to a standstill. And therefore, you need to attend to that in kind of lightning speed.
Okay.
So what happens is the draw-out panels, you keep some extra modules available all the time near the panel.
Okay.
So the moment you find that there's a fault in one module, you draw it out and push
Replace.
this in.
Oh, okay.
And then your process is through.
Okay, that
So
was-
this is the major advantage of draw-out panels. Plus, you can also rectify a particular motor when the rest of them are working and you don't need this motor to be running. You can take it out,
And
do whatever
replace.
maintenance you want, and then keep it ready for it to be operational whenever it is required next. So like this, there are a number of advantages, but because you're switching off and switching on online,
Right.
you need to be very careful about the technology. So that is where there's a lot of new product development which needs to come in. You need to be looking at what are the options which are available in the market today, and how are you going to be different in what you're going to be offering.
So my last question is going to be like, what do you think will be the possible future, like 30, 40 years down the line? What are the technologies that Modutec will be excelling in India, and how things going to look for the company?
Well, great question. So, for me, my biggest model of success has been IKEA, as well as the Lego, which you can put together and configure it whichever way you want. So these are all on the enclosure level.
Right.
Then, when you go inside the panel, you need to have a number of items which will be able to give you the temperature which is there inside the panel. If there is something which is likely to be going wrong inside the panel, how do you get into predictive technologies which will tell you what is likely to be going wrong tomorrow, rather than you getting to know about it and then working on it. So how do you bring in a lot of measurements of electricity and enable that? And how do you be more adaptable in terms of various customer requirements? How do you make the panel look much more aesthetic and allow for various integrations of what you would really want from an electrical switchboard? When you come and stand in front of the electrical switchboard, you should know what is happening inside, what is happening in the plant. How do you make it a smart switchboard? And in order for all that to happen, what are the precautions which Modutec will need to be taking care of? How do we advise our panel builders as to how they should be doing it? So there is a lot of educational marketing which is required for me to promote the product and the concept. So in fact, I am thinking in terms of starting a webinar series. Right. Where we go into educational marketing on all these fronts. So, if I have all of that available at the click of a button, somebody wants to know about, say, temperature rise inside a panel, how does he manage? We should be able to have a video ready for him to click on, understand that concept, and then move on.
Right.
So, and then when you look at the infrastructure of the factory, yes, how do you bring it into the lights off factory mode? And how does one scale production so that you just need a maintenance team around, and the rest of it is taken care of in terms of manufacturing? How do you scale your marketing and your ability to get known to the world in a much faster way? Right. So there are a number of things which are there 10 years, 40 years down the line. Yes, there is these things keep evolving, but as an entrepreneur, I always feel that I have to focus on what I can do 1 year from now and 3 years from now. Right. Because beyond 3 years, I feel that the trends will be such that it will overtake you, and it shouldn't become something which is no longer relevant after 3 years. So if one is able to look at 1 to 3 year horizon and then keep moving forward, I think that's what agrees with my DNA.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, sir, for your time. It was such
Pleasure.
an insightful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.